Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Don't know why I just so aggressively smacked my table here, but hi, if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and some other crafting related content, and I would love for you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's be friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. I am doing a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, that is when I work on my current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress. You can pull out whatever it is that you are working on and work alongside with me if you'd like. It can be a craft project. It could be a household project. It could be while you're running errands, while you're doing household chores, while you're hanging out. Sorry, I'm just double checking something while I'm talking. I'm just going to get right into it while we chat. I don't have all that much left to do on this. I have like this little section right here and then right above it, and that's it. If you guys want to know what I'm working on, this is Bat from Crafties. It is a Sybile Art canvas. If you'd like to see the unboxing, I will look that up in the eye. Anyway, I have people tell me like they listen while they, do laundry, or while they're driving, while they're, at work, while they're avoiding doing work. If you're new to the world of WIP Chats, it's basically like hanging out with a friend, or a podcast, or however you want to utilize it. There's no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat, you guys. So welcome, hi. So I did not get around to filming last week, and I do apologize. I might have to readjust my WIP Chat schedule again. If you guys have been around for any length of time, I would like to say that I am, this is the most consistent video that I do, is I do weekly WIP Chats, with the exception of like here and there. Last week was one of those exceptions, and that was simply because, dearest daughter, I'd like to thank you so very much for passing your sickness on to me. I'm okay. I feel totally fine now, but I was definitely worn down for a couple days, and by the time I felt better and then had time to sit, I think it was like Wednesday that I was like, okay, I can sit and record. And then I was like, by the time I record it, edit it, process all that, I'd be putting it up Thursday. And then I was like, does anybody really want to WIP Chat on Thursday when they get another one on like Tuesday? Now, the way it's been working, and I'm only going to talk about this for a few minutes because it's probably boring, but the way it's been working for the last however long is that my kiddo was at school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Monday while she went to school, I would actually record, and if I had time, start the processing. If you guys have never created a video for YouTube, the actual recording of it is probably the least daunting part of it. And even if you put 0 edits into a video, if you do nothing but just make a video and then upload it to YouTube, the process of getting it off your phone or your camera or your computer or whatever onto the internet takes the longest. And when you're dealing with a video that is an hour in length, it takes a long time. And it doesn't like to do it when you're not on Wi-Fi. It takes even longer, and I don't have that kind of data plan. So, anyway, I'm not sure what's going to happen now. We are currently on a break, which has been lovely for the last couple days. I'll tell you guys all about that. But, so just keep your eye out, because there's a chance that I may be like changing some things up with my schedule and how I'm recording and when I'm recording. I kind of have to get into the swing of things for all the summer activities before I know for sure. But we are getting to the point now where, like, in a few days, we are picking back up with, like, all of our activities start up again, and then we have summer camp and all of these other things, and it's just, like, I'm relishing in these last couple days where we don't have anything we have to do, we have nowhere we have to go, it's just enjoyable, which, my one acquaintance, I should say, not really a friend, her daughter and my daughter are the same age, and she posted, my daughter slept in until 10:30, and I was like, that does not happen. Now, I will say, Briar is really good. Like, she doesn't come out of her room With the exception of the other day, she came out of her room and was like, I went potty and I did everything I'm supposed to. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I'm done now. And I was like, girlfriend, your nap is not over. Yes, she still has a nap time, but it's not actually like, she doesn't nap. It's just like quiet time. It's for her to decompress and mommy and daddy to work and also decompress. These last couple days, you guys, I've been beyond exhausted. Like, tank is running on fumes, kind of exhausted. So, the stuff that happened for the week that I didn't get to tell you guys, we finished our trip to New York. We came back home. I know I touched base on that in my previous WIP Chat. Which, if you guys are ever curious, I have a WIP Chat playlist. And you know what? I'll link that one up in the eye. Let me make a note of that so I don't forget it. Oh my god, you guys, I cannot type. Right. 5:43. Just put that note down, Lindsay. Anyway, oh my god. So we came back and we had spent Mother's Day morning still in New York, getting breakfast with the family, and it was really lovely. And then we came and did the really long drive and came home. And then the next day, my kiddo just popped right back into her regular schedule. Went to school. You know, we did our post office runs. We did our Dunkin' runs. We did all of the boring stuff that we normally do while she's at school. I had a moment where I needed to take out my contacts because my eyes were dry. And if you guys are contact wearers, the moment I took my lenses out, I could not find my glasses, which, by the way, I always put my glasses in the same spot, and I have no idea where they went. In defense, they needed to be upgraded, so I kind of freaked out, and I actually got myself an eye exam that week. I was shocked, you guys. I got my eyes examined previously at, like, a local, I don't know if it's ophthalmologist or optometrist, but either way, this time I went to Lens Crafters, and I couldn't believe how quick and easy the process was. Not an obstetrician. My husband kept saying that in the car, and he's like, that's not right. He's like, an obstetrician. That's somebody who delivers babies. And I was like, it is. And then we had a whole conversation about obstetrician gynecologists and how not every gynecologist is an obstetrician. And he was like, all right, this is a lot of information. I was like, it is, but now you know. And so now he knows. And what did we do? Oh, if you guys saw my video from Amanda Michelle, and I was talking about the washi tape, and then I realized that one of the washi tapes was not the one I ordered. I want to say a huge shout out to Amanda Michelle Designs. I reached out to her. I just let her know. I wasn't complaining, but I let her know that was not the one I purchased. And she was super apologetic, and for inventory's sake, she wanted to know which one she had sent me. And then I went to my mailbox, and lo and behold, she sent me the replacement. If you guys would like to see the unboxing for that, I will link that one up in the eye. If you guys have never purchased washi from her, I highly recommend it. Not just because she has amazing washi, which she does, but that is the level of customer service that I think other companies need to do themselves. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. No, I was gonna say, like, I don't know. But yeah, Stride 4 works. She was super apologetic and made it right, and I have to replace the wax on this, and I don't want to, and you know when you get to that point where, like, it doesn't want to pick up the amount of drills that you're trying to pick up, that's where I'm at. And I greatly appreciate when a shop owner, diamond painting or otherwise, is open and honest and transparent with their customers, and that was a huge deal for me. So thank you again to Amanda Michelle Designs for making that right, and the replacement washi, which I think this is it, sitting on my desk right here. It's super cute. It's still in the plastic, so it has a glare. But anyway, and then we had, like, you know, ice skating and horseback riding and The last breakfast date with my husband for the school year. So anyway, that was the previous week. It's amazing how I can tell you guys my entire week in like under 10 minutes, or I can do it in an hour and run out of time. Obviously this time I knew I was going to be short on that one. So the following week, which now we are up to date, the following week, I just kind of tried to feel better. My husband took over all of the parenting duties. He took her to school. He took her to the activities she needed to do, which is one of, if not like the best perks of having him be able to work from home, is that he doesn't miss those things normally. They're all part of his regular, like, weekly, like, things that we do. But at the same token, it also means that if he gets sick or I get sick, that we don't have to push through it for the sake of being, like, the parent. Because, honestly, like, there's nothing worse than when you go out in public and somebody is visibly sick. And, like, I don't want that. So that'll be fun next year when my kiddo is in kindergarten. And, like, you can't just hold your kid back because they have a cold. And I'm like, well, that's fun because I don't really want to have to take my kid to the doctor to find out that she just has a common cold, but then it's not an excused absence. I'm like, cool. Whereas like 2-3 years ago, like if you were in the same room as somebody who tested positive for COVID, you had to quarantine at home. And now it's like, nope, we don't care anymore. Send your sick kid back to school. It's like, cool. That's a rant for another day. Do I have that color out on the desk? Yes. So anyway, Sunday, Monday, I was just not feeling well. And then Tuesday morning, I wasn't feeling great, but later on Tuesday, I was feeling significantly better. But my body just needed to sleep. Like, that's what was happening. It needed to rest. It needed to recover. It needed to just do all of those things. And so, huge shout out to my husband for taking the lead and taking care of the tiny human. So Tuesday, I was not there when she had ice skating, and it was her last ice skating session of the spring sessions. The next ones are the summer ones, which, you guys, those start in like 2 weeks, and they still have not put the registration up. And I'm like, cool. And I know it's going to happen. They're going to forget that it's not up, or they're going to do it super last minute and then be upset that they have low enrollment. And it's like, well, you know, you have your Monday one up, you have your summer camp one up, just activate the one for the tots. But no. If you guys hear her, like, yelling in the background, she's beyond hype today. The monitor's not even over here. The monitor's over where my husband is, and he's at his workstation. Sometimes you guys can't hear her very much, and other times she's just like, I'm going to sing the song of my people. She's like on a huge Little Mermaid soundtrack kick. So, you know, you might hear her start to sing, and she does not know how to sing Part of Your World in like a normal level. It is just like screaming. So I don't even know what she's doing in there right now. But anyway, Tuesday he took her to Tots, and he came home and he was like, well, that sucked. And she basically just did not want to do what was being asked. She didn't want to follow the instructions. She didn't want to like listen to her coach. If you guys don't know, my kiddo ice skates. At the current moment, she does one private lesson and one group lesson a week. Her group lesson is a TOTS class where it's like 8 and under or 7 under or whatever it is. They're a little bit more flexible with it in the summer because you've got kids that are there with like younger siblings. Anyway, not the point. But oftentimes she tries to treat her group lessons like private lessons and gets mad that her coach is helping other kids. And it's like, well, we're all here for the same thing, child. You're not the only one. And she's gotten in trouble for that before. Like, her coach has explained to her, it's not just about you and it's not just for you. Like, it's for everyone who is ice skating during the lesson. And it was just one of those not so great lesson days. which is unfortunate. And I obviously wasn't there to give my husband an extra hand or try to change the attitude or, you know, whatever. I have so much wax on this tray right now. Are you guys people who have more than one color out at a time? Let me know down below. Like I said, I only have a little bit left in this section. Thanks, dark gray. There's so many grays in this canvas. Oh, speaking of this canvas, so when I'm done, I will do a post review for you guys. I've got lots of thoughts. But when I'm done that, I've got a couple other videos that I have to film. I have a diamond painting from Knox that I want to share with you guys. And Knox's Punked Out Diamonds is beginning in June, I believe. I will link Knox's social media down below so you guys can check out all the information. This year, the event has transitioned into a charity fundraiser for LGBTQIA plus charities, nonprofits. So check that out. The rules have been loosened a little bit, so I don't believe it needs a new start and all these other things. So check it out. If you want to participate, awesome. If you don't want to participate, but you like the idea of it, please share it on your social media so that other people can hear about it and find out about it and all that fun stuff. Anywho, so I've got the diamond painting from Knox. And when I say like from Knox, like it is Knox's artwork. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. I have one from a new to me company. I have been like eyeing them for a while. It is an international company, so it's one of those, doesn't have cheap shipping. But I finally saw one that stumbled across my Instagram feed, and I was like, ooh, I have to have this. So I have that. I want to share that with you guys. I have another shipment of diamond paintings coming from another overseas company. So I've got, yeah, a couple things. And then I've got another, deciding on what I want to do next. I had an unboxing I actually wanted to share with you guys. It's actually been sitting in my queue for a long time. I'm notorious for this. Like, I won't post any videos, but I'll have videos that have been sitting in my queue, sometimes for months. And I wanted to post it this past week, but the company was restocking their website, so the entire website was down, and I was like, well, I don't want to be that person that's like, here's this super cool diamond painting, but you can't buy it. You can't even go look at it. Of course, they've now restocked, and their website is back up and running, so I've got a couple cool things in the works for you guys. And then I have a crochet unboxing that I have not filmed, but it is sitting there. I'm debating whether I want to or not. I've done quite a few unboxings from this company on my channel. So, yeah, and I've said it before, but if there's ever anything specifically you guys want to see or hear or whatever, please let me know. If I can make it work, I will. And you know, nobody wants to have like stale content, so if there's something like new you guys want to see, please let me know. I remember like when I don't want to say when I first started, but earlier in my YouTube, I don't want to call it career, but earlier in my YouTube days, I remember people being like, well, all you have to do is film unboxings and your WIP chats and your post reviews. And then people were getting burnt out because they were doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then people were like, well, I don't want to keep dropping like $50 to $100 on a diamond painting to unbox it for everybody. Most of us, in case it's not obvious, most of us are not being sent diamond paintings for free. If I do get sent one for a review or to unbox or whatever, I always share that with you. And per YouTube rules, I have to specify that it is a paid sponsorship. If it is, even if I'm not getting paid from it, but it's something that was provided to me to share. And you guys know me well enough to know that anything I talk about, like, I'm totally open and honest and transparent about things. So, but then there was like a huge wave of people just buying a ton of accessories instead, because that was something that was quick and easy that they can show on their channel. But let me tell you, you don't want to spend $50 to $100 on a diamond painting for a video, but then if you end up ordering trays from 3 different companies, minders from all these other companies, a couple extra pens, now you're spending more money. Yes, you're getting more product, but you're not getting more videos out of it, you know, or maybe you are, I don't know. But, so that was a really long-winded way of just saying, if there's anything specific you guys want to see, let me know. My kid is so loud today, it's like distracting me. She's across the room. Anyway, I would just like to say shout out to Amazon for finally delivering something. My husband ordered red pens, for something for work, and they sent him black ones in an envelope labeled red, and then he went through the process of like, well, I need to exchange them or return them, and they were like, okay, cool. And then last night it said out for delivery, and then it said 10 stops away, and then it said 3 stops away, and it showed in our development, and this was like 9:30 at night, and then it just went back to delayed. And my husband was like, cool, he's been waiting for these pens for days. They finally showed up today, so shout out to you, Amazon. Anyway, where was I? Tuesday. So Tuesday, after her debacle at the ice skating rink, my husband was a bit frustrated, and the coach, which, like, I love our coach, but obviously, like, our coach can't make parenting decisions for us. That's our job. She's like, Briar doesn't deserve to do anything for the rest of the day. And I was like, well, fun fact, I have a hair appointment that I've already confirmed and still have to pay for whether my child gets her hair done or not. So I ended up taking the time, and I took her for this hair appointment. And you guys, I will put up a photo here. Let me mark that also. 21. She got a split dye. If you don't know what a split dye is, it's when you split your hair and you dye one side and you dye the other side. Now, if you guys don't know, my kiddo is 5.5 years old. I did not grow up where I was allowed to do things like this. I was never allowed to dye my hair. I was never allowed to really, truly express myself in anything that sort of way. And I used to, and I had this conversation with my husband, like, even when the baby was a baby, and I was like, I will not let her do this, and I don't think it's appropriate. And then I realized this is how she is choosing to show the world, this is who I am, and it's beautiful. And I know not everybody would let their 5-year-old dye their hair. I don't do anything that requires bleach. And the woman who is doing, or who's done her hair, has done my hair, and she absolutely adores my daughter, and she's wonderful with Briar. And this is not an everyday, all the time thing. Like, when her hair fades, we're not going to get another appointment. The next appointment she will get will be before she starts kindergarten. But I had let her know, because she had done pink dye tips, excuse me, and we had made the appointment for this appointment so that she could have fun hair for graduation. And she wanted half pink and half green, because of Spidey and His Amazing Friends. If you've never seen it, it is a little kid version of Spider-Man through the universe, into the universe. And it's, it has Spidey, it has Miles, it has Gwen, and then it has all of the bad guys, but they're all, like, kids. And she loves that Gwen has pink hair and that Electro has green hair, and that is why she chose those two colors. And so we did it, and I was like, I can't wait till somebody at graduation says something. Nobody said anything. One mom who's pretty conservative in every possible way. Like, I thought she was going to have, like, a clutch your pearls kind of moment. She's like, Briar, your hair looks really cute. And Briar's like, thanks. But she did a really good job, and it's nice to have those bonding moments with her. I'm going to transfer this to a different tray. This is a Bella Art de Nicole Essentials. This is the bigger of the two. I have a smaller one also. I am just spraying drills left and right over here. And then this is a Muni Made tray. Where am I at? Sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm trying to find my notes. So, that was that. We ended up going to Red Lobster for dinner. Which feels like it wasn't that day, but I guess it was. And it's funny, the table behind us, there's this guy, and I could hear him going over to the bartender, and I couldn't fully understand what he was saying. Yes, I was being nosy and trying to hear it, but he was basically telling them, like, please make sure they don't clear my table. I just have to run to my car. I'm not done. And like a minute later, somebody came and busted his table, took all the Cheddar Bay biscuits away, cleared his drink, and he came back and he's like, whoa, what just happened? Apparently the bartender didn't have a chance to tell them, and I guess she was not at the bar when the busser came, and they cleared all of his stuff, and he's like, I just went to get my glasses. And I was thinking, I hope that he didn't have like real food out there, but they were very apologetic. But we did that, and Briar was funny. She associates things with one place to another, which is great. But we go to a crab place, not Red Lobster, and they have paper on the table. And she's like, well, how come this place doesn't have paper on the table? And I tried explaining to her, well, it's not the same place, but the crab place puts it there because you're dealing with like crab shells, and it's just easier to clean it up. Like, that's just what they do. And I knew what she was getting at, because she wanted to go to the crab place, because when we go to the crab place, she gets to eat crab legs. And I love the crab place. I don't love that my husband could offer to open crab legs for her, and she'll say no. So everybody else gets to finish eating their dinner while I'm sitting there eating mine, because I spent all this time taking care of her dinner. Because I usually order crabs and then share it with her. Like, I order extra so she can join me. I'm going to adjust my canvas here. If things are moving, don't be freaked out. They are moving. And I just wasn't in the mood to deal with that, you know. So much static. Let's start with this right here. So I just have this section across. That's all I have left to do. Alright. Gotta get my pen back out. Put some more drills. So I have like this section, which is grays, and then this section, which is hair, the top of her face, the rest of her hair, and then another section that's grays. And that's it. It's not very high at all. How am I on time? Okay. Oh, excuse me. Wednesday, we went to school. My husband and I went to Walmart. I forget what we needed to get, but we needed to get just like boring stuff. That's one thing that sucks. Like, now that she's not in school, it's like, we have to get all of these errands done while she's around. Not that I don't like doing things with Briar, but she is at that stage of life, not surprisingly, where she doesn't want to be in a shopping cart anymore, because shopping carts are for babies. And I'm not a baby. I'm a big girl. All right, kid. You are a big girl. But when you're not in a shopping cart, you're impossible. In a nutshell. And I love her, but, like, I don't really want to deal with that. And we actually had one blow up about that this week. And so we just went to get, I don't even remember what we went to get, but this is not my only trip to Walmart that week. Did she do that with just me? No, that was the next day. Then we went to, so there's a local restaurant here. It's really great for like lunch. And we go there a lot. Usually on Mondays after school we go. It's really close to home. It's usually pretty quick. And they've got really good sandwiches. And they have an excellent kids menu. Like, their kids menu has so many items on it. And they all love Briar. And they usually have something for her to color. Which I don't expect that to be their responsibility. Like, I usually bring stuff with us for her. But excuse me. It's nice when you go to a restaurant and they have like coloring pages or, you know, more than one crayon kind of situation. But anyway, we did that, and then we ended up going back up to where my glasses, they were ready so quickly, you guys, and I love my new glasses. I definitely am taking a little bit of time to get used to them, but they're super cute on. I absolutely love them, and I cannot wait to order myself like more glasses. So stay tuned for that, you guys. One of the reasons I don't ever wear my glasses is because I feel like no matter what I do, I can't ever see out of them. Part of that is because the prescription was insanely wrong, and like even the eye doctor said to me, so how long has it been since you've been able to see properly? And I'm like, touche, sir. And so yeah, don't be like me. But I'm going to be laying down some clear glow-in-the-dark drills. You guys, I have no idea what happened to my blacklight flashlight, which sucks because I wanted to share that with you guys, which I'll still share. I just don't know if I'll be able to get as good of photos without one. Maybe I'll buy another one. They were not expensive, and it was just little. Yeah, and whatever, my daughter, she's having a full conversation. So since we went out that way to go grab my glasses, we also went out that way for dinner. You guys, we went to the Macaroni Grill, which we never go to. I was super impressed. I was really in the mood for eggplant parm, and it's back on their menu. Whoop, whoop. Fun fact, you guys, my husband, that was the first thing he ever made me when we started dating. He made me eggplant parm. It was super crispy, super delicious. And it is like a very rare special occasion thing that he makes because it takes a lot of effort to pan fry something that you have to, you know, coat and dredge and do all of the things to. And we just ended up having a really lovely meal. Briar was pretty well behaved, which is always admirable. You know, you never know what you're going to get with small children. And then there was like a gaggle of girls that came out of the bathroom in like fancy dresses, and I was like, is there like a formal event happening, or is there like a choir performance happening? Like, what is happening? And my husband's like, oh, I didn't even take notice. There were like 10 girls that came out of the bathroom, and I don't know if they went in like fancy dresses, or I just didn't see them go in and I saw them all come out because they all came out at the same time. It's very strange. But that was that. The next day was Thursday. Okay, this was a busy day for us. I had booked tickets to see The Little Mermaid as soon as they became available. Originally, we were going to go on Friday, but Friday was my daughter's graduation day, and we didn't know if we had plans. We didn't know if we were going anywhere. We didn't know any of that, so I was like, So now, it used to be, like, if a movie came out on Friday, you'd get, like, a midnight showing on Thursday, and that would be its, like, first release. Well, now, they had 3 showings on Thursday, even though the movie wasn't technically released until Friday. Great. So I booked us a Thursday afternoon ticket, which, oddly enough, my husband was able to book tickets to see Guardians of the Galaxy at the same theater about the same time. His movie was about 15 minutes prior to ours, and then it got out a few minutes after ours. So we all went to the movies together, even though we didn't all see a movie together. But first thing, I went to the chiropractor. My daughter has not been with me since they moved locations, and she was so excited because she knew they had like a play area. And I had let her know, like, Mommy's going to be in room number 2. If you need anything, you can come get me. But if not, just stay out here and play. And she's like, okay. Next thing I know, like, no sooner than, like, a minute later, she comes sauntering in from the other. And she's like, oh, hi, Mommy. And I'm like, hi, Bean. Did you need something? She's like, no. I was like, can I help you? No. And she brought in, it was like a dump truck and a fire truck and all these things. And I was like, you can't take up the whole room because the doctor needs to be in here so she can adjust me. And Briar's like, okay, mommy. And just stands there. And I'm like, okay, well, you got to get out of the corner. Like, you got to move out of the way. Get into the corner, I think I told her. And then I go onto the decompression table where I'm strapped to a table for 12 minutes, can't do anything. And the number one rule is do not destroy the gym. Well, she didn't give a shit about that. And of course they were like, oh, honey, you can't be doing that in here. And I'm like, this is why mommy told you I'm only bringing you if you're going to listen. Like, I know she thinks it's fun, but there's a bunch of other clients and patients. And, like, they have a rehab room and she's just all over the place. And I was like, thanks, Briar. Especially when I'm strapped to a table and I can do literally nothing. But got adjusted. You guys, my sciatica pain has been back. And I took Briar for a walk yesterday. Like, I definitely need to start, like, moving my body more again because I think that's part of the reason why it keeps coming back. Who would have thought? But we did the chiropractor, and then there's a Starbucks across the street, so I got myself a cup of coffee. I got her a little cake pop. She really enjoys their ice cold water. I don't know what it is. I feel like I've talked about this before, but it's like double filtered or something. It's cold. It's very refreshing. And she was so funny. She's like, this is like, you could probably put coffee in a cup like this. And I was like, that is a coffee cup. And she's like, well, you could probably put coffee in here. I'm like, you can put coffee in there. In fact, that's what they sell their coffee in. And she was like, what? I love watching her, like, react to things like that because she gets so excited. And I'm like, girlfriend, like, what? This is the exact same cup that mommy's drinking out of. Just, here's this water in it. Mine is coffee. But, we had a cute little mommy and me date. We sat outside, which it was a little bit windy and she was not really having it after her bag blew away. So we quickly took our cake pop and went back in the car. And then I was like, we need to stop at Walmart. And she's like, okay, mommy. She loves being able to go do stuff. If you're already doing stuff, if you're like, okay, we're going to leave the house to go do something, and then she'll ask you, is it boring? That's number one. Yes, Briar, it is boring. Well, I don't want to go then. It's like, well, you don't really have a choice. Okay. So we had to go to Walmart because I needed to get cards for her teachers, and I also needed shampoo and body wash and something else that was boring. But then we ended up getting like a cute little notebook in the like seasonal area of Walmart. They have these little like hand-sized notebooks, and it had like a squishmallow on the front, and she loves her squishes, and it was super cute. I was like, yeah, we can get that. She is a fan of always having a notebook to sketch in. The unfortunate thing is she just does not seem to comprehend, like, stop ripping everything out of the notebook, because the more pages you pull out of the notebook, especially if it's not a spiral notebook, like it's just like a bound notebook, the more you pull out, the less, like, your pages want to stay in, and then she'll, like, open up the notebook and a bunch of pages will fall out, and I'm like, girl, this is why I keep telling you, stop doing that. But what would I know? You guys, I've lived on this earth 35 years longer than her, but what would I know? In case you don't have a lot of experience with children, they know everything. They do. They know everything. They may be wrong, but they know it. They know it. And so my husband and I wanted to get Briar some flowers. And unfortunately, there was no way to get flowers where she wasn't going to be with us. So I picked up some flowers after I picked up the cards, and she just looked at me and said, my teachers are going to love these. And I was like, yeah. I didn't say a word, and she didn't look that closely at them because she thought she was just going to give them to her teachers and that be it, and we would move on. And I was like, yeah. So imagine the surprise on her face when she learned the next day they were hers. But we picked them up, and then we went to a restaurant in Hershey. You guys don't know, I live near Hershey, like chocolate. And it is now tourist season, so a lot of places that we like to go are insanely busy because Hershey Park is open and more people are visiting our area. But we are hoping, because it's still the school year, that we would be okay. We lucked out. We really lucked out. But we had that. We had a great lunch. And then we went to the movies. I took her to see The Little Mermaid. Now, listen, if you are somebody who loved the original and you are hoping to see the new one, or you're planning on seeing the new one, a few things I want to tell you. Besides the fact that I love the movie, and I'm not going to sit here and debate, like, if it was good or bad or anything like that, because I thought it was spectacular. I thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed the new music that they added to it. But there are two things that I'm going to give you the heads up on if you have not gone. One, the entire scene with Chef Louis was removed. So if you are somebody who is a huge fan of Les Poissons, that whole scene is gone. It is also not the exact same movie. I think a lot of people didn't realize. It's loosely the same movie, but obviously they've made things a little bit different, because they don't want it to be the exact same as the animated. Anyway, there are 3 new songs in the movie, but Les Poissons is not in it. Scuttle has a new... Scuttle's a girl this time around, which is awesome. And she has her own song in it. But the biggest thing that I want to tell you, the movie is 2.5 hours long. The original animated one is 1.5 hours. So if you are going with a small child, even if they love movies, they love The Little Mermaid, it is a very long movie. My daughter hit that like 1.5 hour mark, and then it was like standing on the seat, kind of like wanting to lay upside down. It was just like that attention span just was dwindling and dwindling, and then it was 8 million questions that she wanted to ask me, and I was like, Briar, I want to watch the movie. Like, stop talking to me. Which, you know, kids don't care about that. So just a fair warning, and I'm not saying this to deter anyone, but it is a very long movie. It's 2.5 hours long, which is a long movie in general, but it is insanely long for a kid's movie. Do I think it needed to be an entire hour longer? No, I don't. But I loved it. I thought it was visually spectacular. I thought that Halle Bailey did an amazing job as Ariel. I love Melissa McCarthy, and like, I swear that woman can do no wrong. And I had no idea she could sing like that. You guys, I loved it. And I would 110% go back and see it again, preferably without my child. Like I said, I love her dearly, but she's been really into the soundtrack for the original for a little while now. And now they've fully released the entire soundtrack for the live action. I wanted to say real person. And so now we're able to stream that one for her. And you guys, she's just so into it. And it's funny because the original one came out in 1989. So I was 7 years old. 6, 7, depending on what time of the year it came out. So I wasn't that much older than she is now. And I just have so many fond memories of the original Little Mermaid. And it's funny because I remember as a kid being like, her dad is so mean, she's so in love with him, and blah 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 blah. And then I watched it again as an adult, and I'm like, she is 16, he is a grown man, she is a child. You know, you watch it through different eyes. And so I will say, like, that was not something that was discussed in this one, which I was like, I appreciate that. I don't think that she was supposed to be quite as young in this version. But please, if you want to see it, see it. It is spectacular. But please note, if you are going with a small child, that there's a really good chance that, like, the second half of the movie, you're not going to enjoy as much as the first half, because kids have zero chill. Anyway, so we did that. It was fantastic. And of course, you know, we ended up eating like popcorn for dinner, and just, it was like a junky kind of thing. And, you know, I know, if you guys didn't know, we're dye-free in this family. So I can't be like, oh, here's some M&Ms. So I obviously I bought drinks and okay, this is something about me. I have always, like, as long as I can remember, enjoyed getting the nacho cheese and dipping my popcorn into it. However, the woman who checked me out could not comprehend what was going on because I didn't order nachos. I ordered a large popcorn, water bottles, and a container of cheese. And she goes, "You mean like the powder?" And I was like, "No, I mean like the cheese for the nachos." And she's like, "You want cheese?" "Yes, I would love some cheese, please." And she's like, "Okay." So she comes back and she hands me like a third of my order, and I go, my large popcorn. And she's like, "Oh yes, let me grab that." And then she's like, "Okay, next." And I was like, "And my cheese?" And she's like, "Oh, okay." And I was just like, I feel like we just went over this. So she was a bit confused, and you know, that's fine. But I love to dip like my kernels of popcorn into the cheese. That's my thing. I don't know why anyone else do it. Let me know. But I seem to have short-circuited that woman. She just could not comprehend. And my husband, he wrung himself out for his own concessions because we were going to 2 different movies. And he's like, "Can I help you with something?" And I was like, "Yeah, can you grab the popcorn for me?" So he went to grab the popcorn, and the lady's looking at him, and she was very confused because he did not order with us. He ordered separately with a different concession person. And she was just looking at him, and he's like, "I'm with them. That's my wife and my daughter." And she was just like, "Oh." I was like, why is this so complicated? But thankfully, my husband was able to help me get into the theater with her and get everything situated. And I think one of the reasons that she ran out of steam as quickly as she did, which she 100% would have run out of steam even if my husband wasn't there, because we had to sit in the theater for a few extra minutes because we got there early. But in defense, I am one of those people that I will not just show up to a movie like right before it starts. Like, I have to have time to sit down. Like, these are ones you prepay and select your seats and all that stuff. And it just, it was quite an adventure. If you guys have an AMC near you, they have those light up buckets. This was not an AMC. This was like a local theater. And the only thing that makes me bummed is that, like, I want one of those light up buckets. You guys, it was so good. I had such a great time. I didn't super love how my daughter was acting, but the movie itself, and I loved it. I loved it. So, the next day, and that night I curled her hair. I used those heatless curlers that you, like, thread the hair through, and they're like mesh tubes. Oh my god, you guys. I put, I think, 6 of them in my kid's head. 7 of them, something like that. I think I did like 3 on each side and 1 in the middle. And that was it. She has very thin, like, fine hair. You guys, I loved how they worked in her hair. They were amazing. They looked amazing. They took seconds for me to style. You guys, loved them. Anyway. Oh, something just came up on my phone. Hopefully it wasn't anything important. So the next day, and just in case you guys are not in the mood to hear tears, thanks for watching. These are all happy tears. You guys, my daughter graduated from preschool. I am, like, really struggling to accept the fact that my daughter is way more grown up than I wish she was. I wish she would stay little forever. Which I know is crazy to somebody who doesn't have kids, or somebody whose kids are, long gone. Maybe they forget these feelings, but the older she gets, the less she needs me. And I know she's always going to need me. I'm her mother, but, like, I love seeing all of the things she can do on her own. Like, I love that, but I know every day I'm one step closer to that being the last time she wants me to pick her up. The last time, one day closer to the last time she's going to want me to tuck her in. or to give her a big hug and kiss, or, you know, pick out her outfit for her, or do her hair. Like, I'm one day closer to all of those things ending. And it makes me so sad to think that, because she wants to be such a big girl, and I'm so not ready for it, but I'm really, really proud of her. And she got an award for being the deer. Each one of the kids got an award that was like animal based, and hers was being a deer because she's really good at problem solving, which is true. She usually can figure out a solution to things, but it was funny. The one kid got an award for having the best smile, and everybody's like, smile, and she just like glared at everyone. But you could tell it was beautiful. I loved that we had a ceremony for it. There were balloons, and everybody got a little gift bag from the teachers that, you know, like, it had a lot of chalk, which is great because my kid loves chalk. What kid doesn't love chalk? That's not true. I'm sure a lot of kids don't like chalk, but she loves chalk. And now she's like, can we color on the driveway? And I was like, yes, we can, but we're not going to do it right now. And we got each one of her teachers a card. As I mentioned, we got her head teacher a little canvas. It's like class dismissed. And I really want to thank the teachers at her school, because they really instilled such a love of learning in my child. She wants more than anything to learn how to read, which, like, she doesn't understand, like, that's a process. It's not just like, oh, I want to read, now I can read. It's like, well, that's why you're learning all your letters, kiddo, so that you can learn how to read. And, you know, don't tell her that, though. She doesn't believe you. It's just been, preschool has been a really wonderful experience for her, and I can't wait to see her completely blossom in kindergarten. And you guys, I'm so not ready, but here we are. You know, we've got a couple months, so now it's nice. We are in this stretch right now where we don't have any activities. We have activities beginning back up in a few days here, but after graduation, I got a card in the mail. I assumed it was from my parents. I assumed it was congratulations, but no, it was a card that was like, we really miss you. And I'm like, cool. If you guys didn't know, I'm currently not in contact with my family. It's really all I'm going to get into right now. I kind of felt like it was super shitty. Like, if you want to talk to her, then maybe you should apologize to me, and we can all have a family relationship again. But it's been significantly longer than I anticipated, and I am accepting that this might just be the way it is, which sucks. But after graduation, she opened up her cards, and we took her to Five Below, which is like her favorite place ever, to do a little shopping spree. She was so full of indecision, and I'm like, we need to nip this in the bud now, because, like, she'll make a decision and then change her mind. And she's always been very, like, flip-floppy, but now it's to the point where, like, it is causing her massive anxiety. And it's like, Briar, you need to just make a decision and stick with it. There's no wrong decision as to, like, which toy you get, because let's face it, you're going to get another toy another day. But whatever it is that you want today, let's get that. And so we got that. And then we went to lunch. We were going to go to lunch at one place. It didn't work out. So we're like, oh, let's stop at this place on the way home. Now, this restaurant, my husband and I had ordered from their other location many times during, like, the height of the pandemic. And, they, without sounding awful, they can't ever seem to get the entire order right. The amount of times we've done, like, delivery and, like, an entire meal is missing, or, like, components of things are missing. It's very stressful. It's very, very stressful. So, we decided to go there, and I'm like, okay. Now, some of you may or may not know, I don't do chicken. I eat chicken very rarely from time to time, but in general, I am not a chicken person. So I saw that they had a faux chicken sandwich. I do like their faux chicken wings that they have. and I wanted to know if it was the same brand because I really like the chicken wings. So I was like, well, if I like the chicken wings, I know I like the chicken sandwich. She's like, no, it's a different company. And I'm like, okay. So I went back and forth because I wasn't sure what I wanted. I really wasn't in the mood for a salad, which is usually what I end up getting there because the majority of their menu is chicken and burgers. And, you know, it is what it is. So, am I doing the right color? Yes. So I order my chicken sandwich after like much debate going back and forth because Brian's like, well, what if you get it and you don't like it? I'm like, well, then I guess I'll worry about that then. You know, then I guess I'll order a salad or deal with it or whatever. So somebody comes out and says, oh, I just want to let you know we're actually out of the chicken, the faux chicken. And I was like, oh. And they were like, well, did you want to get the wings? And I was like, no, because I wasn't in the mood for wings. Like, this was a sandwich that had a side. Like, it was a different, you know, that's like saying you wanted to get pasta and they offer you something like, I don't know. Anyway, so I was not super happy, but I was like, okay, I guess I'll look at the menu again. And I should preface this that I'm not somebody who doesn't not do well with change, but I am not somebody who does well in a situation like this. Like, if I know this is what I'm ordering and you tell me after I've ordered it, like, that it's out, like, I have a really hard time pivoting and moving on from, like, a very hard time. So I ordered an everything pretzel that they had, and they came out and they said, so I hate to do this. And I was like, you're out of that too, aren't you? Yeah. I was like, cool. And they're like, can we get you something else? And I was like, so I ended up getting just a cup of soup, which wasn't very good. But I was so frustrated because I'm like, what are the odds that it wasn't like they were two similar things. They were two totally different things. Both the things that I wanted were out. Nobody else at my table, like, everything else that we ordered was fine. I was just really disappointed and I was frustrated because I was like, you know, I go to a restaurant that doesn't have a whole lot that I like to eat in the first place. And this is what happens to me. And it's fine. Like, obviously I survived, but I was not happy. And then I get a phone call and I notice that it is from, like, the town that we live in. I am not somebody who answers the phone if I don't know it, but I had an instinct that this was a call I needed to take, which it was. It was from the kindergarten special ed department, basically telling me that they had reviewed all of Briar's paperwork and they wanted to set a meeting up so we can discuss their findings and their solutions. And it had to be on a date that all of the other providers, the OT, the speech pathologist, whoever they are including in this. Oh my God, I wish I could turn that kid down. But I can't because she's across the room. And I'm almost done. So if she's super loud, sorry you guys, but it is life. This is very much real life here. And so I was just flustered because, like, I got a call. It wasn't at the greatest of times. The woman had really crappy, like, I think it was one of those, like, older phones, and, like, you could hear the cord, like, cracking, like, the static, and I was just deep in frustration at that moment. But it is what it is. So we did that, and so we'll be going to see them in June, which I say that as if, like, June's really far away. June is just a couple days away. The next day, we ended up going to the market because we have been planning to go to Trader Joe's to do a run for a very long time now. And then, like, we were going to go after ice skating the one week, and it wasn't going to happen. And then we were going to go another day after my glasses, and then it ended up being too late, and all these reasons why it couldn't happen. And I was like, I just need to get some stuff. And so we just needed to get, like, regular everyday kind of food. So we went to the market. And then the next day, which was Sunday, which is where I will end you guys. I don't know why I just pulled a new color, but I did. The next day was Sunday. You guys, I can't tell you, I have not been that level of exhausted in a really long time. So I said, Briar, do you want to go with Mommy for a coffee run? Could I make coffee at home? Absolutely. But did I end up spending like $7 at Starbucks instead? Absolutely. Got myself a Starbucks. I got a latte for me. No, I don't remember what I got. I got Brian a matcha. I got Briar a cake pop. We went home, we had dinner, we hung out, and that was the end of it. And you guys, we are officially on break right now. Come Wednesday, we start back with swimming, which we haven't done since last summer. We're still going to be doing riding here and there. It's not going to be every week because it's just way too much to do and way too much money. We have aerial camp coming up. We have zoo camp coming up. We have ice skating camp later in the summer. We're picking up another ice skating session. It's just go, 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 go. And that is it. So I'm going to figure out what my new schedule is going to look like, or the best time for me to record. It may be something that doesn't affect you guys at all. It may be something where I just announce, like, okay, I'm back on Mondays for WIP Chats. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I kind of have to see how things go, because with my kid in camp, for example, if she goes to camp at zoo camp, I'm going to be dropping her off, and then I'm going to be picking her back up. I will have time to record while she's at camp. Cool, no problem. But when she is at the aerial camp, it is beeping already. I don't know. When she's at aerial camp, I will not be able to, because it's like a 35-minute drive from our house. And there's no point when she's there for 2.5 hours for me to drive home, record, and then drive back. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing that week. My husband and I might just alternate who's taking her and picking her up that week. But we'll figure it out, and, you know, just keep your eyes peeled, that notification bell hit. But if you guys enjoyed this and you'd like to see more content like this or nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. 1 real life, 1 virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. While you're there, hit that notification bell. Dang. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record while my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.